9/10 of the law, right?
That's how I play.
Is.
Right there.
It is.
That's what Lady Usher thinks too, right, Robin?
I pick up the rifle, run the action. What is scope?
K77 with a 2x scope it should be a very familiar rifle to Benny.
Mm-hmm.
This is
my
what
scout
90% of Burgundians certify with every year when they renew their
hunting license.
Hunting license, yes.
That's what you got hit by in Zermatt.
Mm-hmm.
Memories.
The oil in the wood has a bit of a clove smell to it. This thing has been well cared for. There's no notches in it, no ceremony, no extra gilding on this thing. It is a service rifle and it is well maintained. The oils across the inside of the machinery are in perfect order. Somebody loves this gun.
I drop the back and I pull the bolt all the way out and I just look down the barrel.
Yeah, the room beyond moves around and casts light and shadow. You can see the spiral going down there. There's death inside of this chamber, just waiting for a target.
Are you admiring it, or are you going to make love to it?
Am I making love to it now? Does it not look like I'm making love to it now?
The only opulent thing about this is the shoulder strap that is hooked to it. It's got a beautifully brocade band across there. It's not leather, it's cloth. It looks like it's got excess built into it. So whoever bought this thing probably spent as much on the shoulder strap as the rifle cost.
Jeez. Rich echelon captains.
But if you have a serviceable weapon, just don't want to touch it. It might actually be an artifact. I mean, something that he or his father or something like that. Yeah. Untouched, but well cared for. It means something.
It feels abusive that this Clovian military guy is using a Burgundian rifle.
Right?
How many times have I...
He just recognizes craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Efficiency and craftsmanship.
Yeah.
If their guns are as good as their clocks, it's got to shoot straight.
So did this have any rounds? Because it looks empty right now.
It's empty.
Yeah.
Can you check his bag? Does he have an ammo box in his bag?
Nope.
There's not a side pocket on the rifle case or anything?
There's probably a little flap on the outside with a box of ammo. We'll call it 20 shots in there. It's pristine.
Yeah. I am going to load it right now. It's probably got a drop in or internal clip. And
Turtle magazine.
Turtle, is that what they call it?
Internal magazine.
Internal. Okay. A turtle magazine.
Put the head in.
I leave the last round out so that I can push the rounds down and shut and bolt it.
It'll hold 5 in the magazine and 1 in the barrel.
Okay, so I'll take the 5 and I'll drop it and drop the bolt so it's empty. And I am going to grab I'm going to put it back in the case, close up the case all nice and carry the case, if you don't mind. Because if I get a chance where I can take anything at a distance, I will wreck that like Bjorn wrecks bathrooms.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the visual.
I'll think about that the next time I'm carrying you across a rooftop.
It was an inconvenient time. If we had more time, I'm sure it would have been better. I work from windows. I don't work from rooftops unless they're flat.
It still sounds like you're trying to make up for your manhood. Bjorn took care of things. It's good.
Yes. And now I own your manhood.
Oh, no, he wrecked my manhood. That's the problem.
No, you did that to yourself, my friend.
Just point and I'll shoot.
It's all right, Bunny. You'll make up with it with that rifle. I
I
trust you.
absolutely will.
You descend to the lobby as a group. Do you diversify and kind of spread out as you leave, or you leave?
Why don't we stick with what we were doing before? Me and Blanca will walk together. Bjorn, give us, 3 to 5 yards behind him. Robin and Bunny.
Arm in arm with his rifle.
Perception, everyone.
I've got my satchel. I mean, I'm packing out. We're not staying around.
You know what? Let's actually change this up so the two rangers aren't at the back.
Yeah, that is. I'd like us to go down first too.
Well, I mean, split them up.
Oh, split us up. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm on your arm, Cornell.
No, I'm on Cornell's arm.
That's
You
fine
and
too.
Blanca are
I have no problem with either of these situations. Cornell's comfortable.
Cornell's completely comfortable with his manhood.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Whatever you want, Robin. I'll let you choose.
Today.
Okay. Bjorn got a 2. There's something pesky on his shoe, and he just needs to get it off.
29 for Robin's perception next to Cornell, going down first.
24. Not the best, not the worst.
Not the best, not the worst. Yeah.
You guys see that there is a huge collection of people in the lounge area. Lots of people checking out. You can smell the restaurant is in the height of service at this hour. You see there are a number of cabs pulled up out front. This place is a bustling hub of activity. It's light outside. Long shadows still as the sun is still coming up, but it looks like a brand new day.
And just crowds of people checking out.
I want to lean over to the newspaper, just look down and see if there's anything on the front page.
Absolutely.
The Rodinka Gazette.
Yeah. I know that they don't actually. No, I'm going to put a penny down and grab a newspaper and take it out.
The papers talk about the local film production and some of the notable figures associated with that. They talk about Annabella being in town for the production. They mention a few of her previous films. They also call out Leon Portier, who is the lead actor, a bit of an action star. This is a new thing for him. He doesn't normally do period pieces. He is engaged in what is essentially a pirate movie that has been in production here for the last week and a half. They did manage to get some time with Annabella and interview her. She talked about the rigors of working in a period piece and the old gowns and having to work on the beaches at odd hours. Oh, woe is me kind of stuff. The princes and princesses behind on the other end of the camera are put out by the production, but of course they also get all the accolades for the end work.
You got to make it sound hard in order for it to be, worthy of some sort of.
Yes, they mentioned that Leon and Annabella are staying at a wonderful hotel locally, but to protect their privacy, they can't say which one. But you also know that the nicest hotel in town is the one you had stayed at last night.
Yeah. Top floor.
Not the Hojos?
No mention of the police activity last night. There is a small article that talks about the history of Lady
Usher.
It's kind of just a little curiosity piece talking about the origin of the story and how she was originally a maid servant in a rich household, and her job was to protect the family, but she was mistreated by her masters and turned villainous towards the children. All this is kind of set in the context that, you know, the current scourge on this wonderful vacation town is part fairy tale and part real, and they don't know which is true.
Hard times. It's good though. It's good news. You know, we Elena, well, actually, as soon as we leave, as soon as we walk out, I'd like to lean over to Cornell, since I'm standing next to Cornell, and say,
Hmm?
Whatever. Want to take the motorcycle?
Does that mean I'm in the sidecar?
Run, bitch.
I am just saying we could move some stuff around. I'm not actually saying we should all try and pile into this thing and go, but we need to keep it with us. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Do we know where it's at? We just have the keys.
I'll check it out. If you want to hold this case and this bag. Thank you. Do you take it?
Yeah. And I'm just having flashbacks to how many times as I was traveling around and I was asked to hold a purse. And I just have flashbacks to that.
Really big, though. I mean, it's really big.
As we're walking out, I look over at the probably the valet service, and I say, "Where's parking?"
He motions. He points down towards the ground.
This is it. I have these keys, which means that you didn't take my keys. So where would I have parked this?
Mon Dieu, of course you are keeping your keys. He motions towards the stairwell. You see that there are marble steps going down to a landing, and they double back. You get the sense that the car park is a floor down.
I look at the rest of the group. Maybe I should actually bring somebody with me.
Robin takes your paper.
Yeah. I'll flag Rob. No, Robin stays here because she's eyes. Blanca, come with me.
Where are we going?
Key. Show you the key.
She nods and follows.
Mon Dieu. Just read the paper.
Just read the paper. Well, everybody's probably piling out front. Anyway.
You go down 2 flights. The large open space. You can smell chlorine. It smells like there's a pool down here. You see that there is an area set aside for athletics, and looks like there's some boxing equipment down here. And there is a door that has a symbol for a vehicle on it.
Lean into the door.
You push through. The scent changes to that of oil, machine oil, and gasoline. You hunt around for a little bit. There are 2 levels of parking down here. It doesn't take long before you come across a motorcycle and a sidecar. It looks like it's a recent model Clovian manufacturer motorcycle with a sidecar. The vehicle is a manufacturer Majestic 1930. It's an 886.
An 886? Do they have to name
Like
everything after guns?
Sexy is sexy.
You notice that on the sidecar that there is a front rail that kind of looks like a handrail, but you can see where there are scrape marks on the front where a bipod has been attached to it recently.
Oh, shit. The machine
There's
guns
a
that were used, there was no thread balls, were there?
no.
Conk!
The back of the sidecar has a spare tire on it. That's about the only notable feature. There is a little marker light on the third wheel on the right side of the sidecar that looks like it illuminates in front of the passenger compartment. Room for one, plenty of footwell.
Excellent. Okay. I look at this. I know this key's gonna work. I go up and I stick it in and I click the key. Okay.
A cloud erupts from the back end of this thing for about 10 seconds, and then it calms down. The mixture gets right.
Warms it up. Ready for a ride? We're gonna meet everybody up front.
She steps into the sidecar, stuffs her shoulder bag down in the footwell.
Now, keep in mind that next time this happens, it's gonna be you and Cornell driving. I back the thing up because I am gonna be sitting on a rooftop. Start taking off. I'm gonna be sitting on a rooftop, watching and picking off targets.
You drive what seems the wrong direction to be under the hotel. You kind of recognize you're driving under the street in front of the hotel, and momentarily you come upon a ramp that drives up into the park that faces the hotel. There are a half dozen trees on either side, separated by a broad cobbled boulevard. You come up out of the ramp into the front of the hotel. Is that where the rest of the group is gathered?
Right.
Yeah, you guys hear the multi-stroke motor as a sidecar motorcycle emerges from across the street.
I pull up and I actually throw it into neutral and flag Cornell over. You want to drive?
No, why don't you just park this somewhere so we have it?
Okay. There's not much parking in this place, but we should probably park it near La Brigantine. At least for now.
Do you want to drive it down there and we'll meet you there?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
I am going to settle in back and say, Cornell's, we're all going to meet down at La Brigantine. And
Walk beside Cornell for a while as we make our way there. What are your rules of engagement?
On these sisters?
Yeah, the Volva.
You know, as long as their goals align with ours, I think we treat them as maybe not allies, but at least we give them a measure of courtesy. But the second that they don't align with us, I expect you to take their heads.
And their sister, the Druga, she's fair game, yeah?
Do you mean Usher?
I don't see why not. They unless, I mean, that's something we can talk about with them. What they've
been trying to bring her back. They brought her back, and that's what they turned her into.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if they have a solution for that, or if we are that solution. We'll talk. We'll see what they say. I think that's going to come up in part of our conversation either way. The third sister.
Okay. I will watch them, and I will watch you. You give me the nod.
Well, if you see something I don't hesitate. I trust you, Bjorn.
Words I do not often hear. Thank you.
Nope.
He's new. He doesn't know.
Cornell, you and Blanca head down the main boulevard that bisects the old town. Modest traffic this time of day. You see people out in street side cafes, foot traffic. Not a lot of vehicles out at this hour. You kind of got the street to yourself. You're feeling like a liberal throttle is a little bit of a release.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to leave little black clouds wherever I go. I'm going to lean over and say, it's like the good old days. This.
You there's no posted speed limit here. It's too early for that. You open it up down the main street.
Not entirely. I will slow down at intersections, but
Mhm.
every time I glance down either side and charge up to the next one, probably don't have a lot of opportunities like that.
It looks like this is the main thoroughfare in the heart of the town. All the side streets have stop signs to prevent them from interrupting you, and you can move straight through.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna goose it a bit. Not gonna get above like 50 stay
Kilometers per hour.
Yeah, well, 50 kilometers per hour would actually be okay, but 40, 50, stay in that range.
You hear laughter coming from the sidecar, kind of that giddy roller coaster laughter.
See?
You roll up within a block of La Brigantine, looking for parking.
Mm-hmm. Any street side parking to start trolling the streets. Trawling.
Looks like whoever seems to occupy these things around the clock probably has some business or other thing distracting them today. You see a half dozen open parking stalls already. You're tempted to pull over a block early just to get a parking spot.
If it's clear up here, I'm expecting it to be clear a little further down. So I'm going to give it a little room to breathe and see if we can get closer.
You employ some patience and do find a single slot on the same block as your destination.
Excellent. That's what we're looking for. And I take it.
Blanca steps out. There's a little cutout in the sidecar, so she doesn't have to really climb out. She can just step out. There's no door or anything to it. It's just kind of an open well. The rest of you are on foot?
Yeah, take a while.
Yep.
You're 10, 15 minutes tops from your destination on foot.
I'm actually gonna search the motorcycle a little bit. I'm gonna look like I'm monkeying with it with mechanically tuning things and so forth, but I'm searching inside the footwell, searching inside any compartments that might be inside of the sidecar.
So the spare tire that sits on the back also sits on top of a storage container. It doesn't look like it's locked in any way, shape, or form. You open up the container and find a belt of ammunition for a Watling Mark V.
Rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a.
So it's a Watling that sits up here. Damn, where would that go?
Is that what they used on you at the cafe?
Yeah, I'm curious. I didn't actually hear or see what those things were.
You might have heard them.
Would
This is a larger caliber bullet than was punching through. Likely the stuff that was flying through that open window were SMG rounds.
Yeah, it was like Spitzers and so forth. Okay. It would be good to know where this is. I tap on the ammo box for Blanca. Is there anything else inside of it?
There's some gun oil, some rags. Looks like a 3-in-1 oil can. Nothing beyond that.
Okay.
Some tools for the motorcycle.
Oh, I will pack it up. Is there a lock on it? Can I lock it with a key?
There is a kind of those twist handles with a key in it. It wasn't locked before, but it looks like it will accept the key from the ignition.
Okay. I lock it now.
These guys
Pocket
are using
key.
everything but Clovian.
Good times. At least the motorcycle's Clovian. We
Are we going
Loiter.
inside or are we waiting for the others?
I'd rather take everybody in at the same time, so let's loiter a bit. If you want to, we can back off from the street and I can keep an eye out.
You see there's a chocolate shop behind you. Looks like they've been open for at least an hour. You see some people come out of the store holding tiny confections in their hands. Blanca takes notice of it as they walk behind you, and you see her attentions go to the storefront. Do we have
Go
a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. Go get something. I'm gonna stay out here. Pick something up for me. Something I'd like.
She walks up the 3 steps to the front door. You hear a bell ring as she moves inside. You're standing on the street not far from where Bjorn yesterday assaulted a wizard on a cafe corner.
And insulted her well, thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to keep an eye in both directions. I'm scanning. I watch her inside of the chocolate shop, and I'm looking down the road to see if I can see a bunch of lonely travelers coming my
You
way.
see her up on her toes again, leaning up against the glass confection counter as she talks to the proprietor.
Oh God.
You hear the bells from a nearby church. You're guessing it's the Herald God Church a few blocks from here. It rings the hour at 8 a.m.
Got
The
out
rest
of the
of you
hotel
make your
early.
way. Yeah, this is unusual for your group. Your
Yeah,
team
what are we
lead must
doing
have-
up this early?
Your team lead must be on point here.
Just out of curiosity, what's overnight healing worth?
It's your
Constitution modifier times level.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Oh
Yeah, you're
yeah,
set.
you're
you're all good.
banging.
Well, good.
Reminds me, I got to heal up Blanca.
Yep. Minimum of 1 Teehee for the Constitution modifier.
Well, fortunately, her level and her damage were the same.
That's very good.
You would crave chocolates as well.
Yeah, but she really needs to be stopped because she's just always like a little monster.
Yes, Veruca.
Oh, want a golden goose.
Better than Augustus Gloop.
Strolling along.
The rest of you make your way on foot. It's remarkable how similar the facades of all the buildings are in this town. Every building seems to share the same quarry manufacturer, the same window design, the same height. It feels a little bit like a maze. If the street structure weren't so simple and the town weren't so small, it feels like you could get lost in here if you weren't paying attention.
Which way is east?
The shadows help you until it's noon.
Damn
Ah!
it. Quick, is it summer or winter? No, I don't.
a casual stroll from the hotel down to La Brigantine takes about 12 minutes. You worked up a little bit of a lather, even though the sun is not on the streets properly. It's warm, it's summer, and you guys are feeling it.
Even the sour, it's impressive.
Banny, you catch sight of the others encroaching from your left. Blanca has come out of the shop holding a small folded box with beautifully printed labels on it. She's got the top open, and you see the little spray of lightly decorative paper around dark objects.
Oh. May I?
She extends it to you.
I take actually 2 of them out, or 3 of them out, and
She frowns a little bit as you take 2. There's 6 in the box.
Oh, there's 6 in the box. I'll take 1. I was wondering if it was like, a Blanca full, I'll take 1 and pop it, and just
you eat a chocolate truffle, and it is magnificent. The chocolatier or whoever behind this confection has spent a lifetime perfecting this recipe. There's a little bit of gold leaf on the top half of this thing. You pop it into your mouth and it just dissolves. You're disappearing into that moment. And as you come out of that little sugar coma, you look down the street and see Robin and Bjorn and Cornell.
Quick, eat them all.
They all have to go.
They don't. You'll have to share. And there's not enough, right?
There's not one for everyone.
Take another one.
She goes to smack your hand, but you get it into your mouth before she can react. She's also looking down the street. There are 4 chocolates in the box.
4 remaining.
She covets the box and protects it. The 4 of you, the 3 of you arrive. You see Blanca holding a small folded box protectively. Banny on the opposite shoulder.
Is he still chewing something?
Yeah.
His mouth is working. His eyes are dilated.
There's a chocolate store behind them. Let's do the math.
I'm not sure.
She extends the box towards you as you get closer. You see an elbow out between her and Banny.
Well,
You're the one who has to share. Why did you buy an extra one? It was going to be for you, wasn't it? See.
He ignores you and waits for the encroachment of the other.
Everybody got what they wanted.
It would be rude not to take one, so I do.
Yeah, I'd hate to hurt her feelings, so.
She puts the box in front of you, Cornell. She hands it to you, Robin. You see there are 2 left when it gets to you.
look over at the big guy, Bjorn.
He's got one in his mouth. It's working about like you see right now.
She takes it. She's not actually a fan.
Oh boy, I'll take it.
If you don't like dark chocolate and the truffle interior, you're gonna
Dark chocolate. Yeah, dark chocolate. Yes, that kind of like bit of a garlic smell or whatever. Kind of, it doesn't mix with the chocolate to her, but she takes it out of politeness. She doesn't say a thing. Takes it in. It is a very good one, at least.
It is. The gold leaf elevates it visually, but gives nothing to the taste.
Right.
Chocolate truffle, not mushroom truffle.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Chocolate.
that's true. That's
Yeah,
Oh, never
yeah.
mind. Disregard. She just lets it die inside of her. It's good. You're right. I was thinking something wrong.
Blanca pulls the last one out of the box, puts it into her mouth. Her eyes roll back like a shark feeding.
Never seen that.
She pulls the box in on itself, almost origami style, and puts it in her bag.
Oh,
There is
Put it in her hope chest.
for her. That's an entirely different thing.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
They're over there. Up by
She
coach.
hopes she doesn't catch lycanthropy like an STD.
When did she turn 18 again?
No baby, no wolf.
Summer right now. So
Mhm.
I think she's a late April or early May. I forget her birthday exactly.
And
So,
Aries
Oh.
makes a whole lot of sense.
Well, she should be 18 now.
I know. We're in summer. Is it June?
no, well, she turned 17 last time. She
Mhm.
was 16 when the campaign started.
Oh.
So yeah, I think it's not till spring that she's legit.
Ooh,
It is 1930, so we can suspend a lot of our modern fantasies of
I'll have to look up the Norse word for jailbait.
It is called Lolita, and it's in this book.
the group of you are gathered across the street from the Brigantine, the stone walls reflecting the morning light. You're still in shadow though.
well,
On the hour?
lead on. Let's
Hmm.
let's kick this off. We have no idea if this meeting is set or not, so we just charge in. Not charge, but let's get
Stroll.
breakfast.
The word you're looking for is stroll. We stroll in.
He has an
look-
axe.
I
Be very
look at
clear.
Bjorn's axe over his shoulder and I say, "Okay, stroll."
And Bjorn's actually going to wait out on the sidewalk for about 5 minutes before following them in.
Mm. Okay.
That was the last you actually saw of us.
Bum, bum, bum.
More
All right,
chocolate
guys,
for
it's
me,
been
bro.
fun.
You
Okay.
step inside the restaurant. It's more of a diner than a restaurant. You've got the little patisserie counter and a bunch of tables. You know the kitchen's around back. So you guys are probably way intimate with the details of the inside of this restaurant, galvanized by the gunfight that took place in here just yesterday.
Wait,
This
gunfight?
is the same restaurant?
No, that was the cafe, which is just down the street, right? Okay.
You're right. Sorry, my brain is juxtaposing the two.
It's the bourbon, no problem.
Bourbon sharpens skills. It does not dull them.
Ooh,
Yeah.
High West today. American
Oh,
Prairie?
Oh, it's gone. Is it gone?
Are we looking at American Prairie there? I can't
Yep.
quite tell.
It's
Right.
really the only high west that I can palate. All
Yeah.
their other stuff is just too aggressive for me.
Too
Yeah.
rye.
Too
Well,
right.
ice will open it.
The campfire is probably the most aggressive one they make, and
Pah.
it
Yeah, that one
hurts.
is rough. That one
That
is
is
rough.
rough. Yeah.
It might as well be a scotch.
Yeah.
It's not really though, because it's like pure smoke without anything
Any-
else.
It's
Like,
probably
why
like
is this pleasurable?
putting a blank in a gun and firing it into your mouth.
It still does damage.
It's a rough.
Just
offense
ask
to
Alec
High West.
Baldwin.
Oh.
Oh, too soon?
Oh man. Maybe.
We step into the diner.
You step inside, you see the wait staff waiting on a handful of patrons. Some of them are out on the open area, others recessed inside. When you step inside, the man behind the pastry counter looks up and gives you a nod, reaches back and does a subtle knock on the door behind him. And less than a minute later, you are greeted by Jacques Lemont. He comes out of the back room, rubbing his eyes a little bit. Oh, I wondered if we were going to have our meeting today. It's good to see you.
I'm just chuckling in the background. Somebody else talk.
Oh, just because I'm team lead doesn't mean I have to talk. I was
I know
expecting
it's
one of
not
you-
me talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If I look over at Cornell and he gives me a nod back, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. We planned on coming today. We didn't know if you would get our message or if we would get yours.
He grabs a shallow cup with some brown liquid in it, and you see him carrying a tall glass bottle with clear liquid in it. He sets his coffee down. He uncorks the clear liquid, and you smell anise or a licorice smell in the air. He gives it 2 globs and then sets the bottle at the center of the table without replacing the cap. Cafe?
Frenchies. I throw him off a roof.
You take him
Robin
up to a
reaches.
roof and then
Yeah.
throw him off of said roof.
That's right.
Ah.
Whether he wants to go or not.
These are really hard times.
Robin will pour.
The attendant at the counter brings over some espressos for you. After a moment, he motions towards the clear beverage at the center of the table. A little something to take the edge off.
No.
I think we're all right. Thank you. We have a long day ahead of us.
He gives himself an extra pour because you don't.
Last time we
Robin
had
has a sip.
pours of somebody else's drinks. Well, not me. Does Blanca reach towards it?
No, she sits back. She's demure in her posture, just waiting to see what the objectives are.
Yeah. Okay. So, were you able to set or arrange a meeting? Are we here for a meeting?
I was not sure if we had an appointment, but I put some time on my lady's schedule. She is upstairs and, of course, awaiting the meet. As you can imagine, she is a little paranoid regarding strangers. Perhaps 1 or 2 of you could take the meeting and the rest of you could share a coffee with me.
Okay. Okay. We're here to help you. This situation does work in our favor, but it is here to help them. I don't think that we can operate that way. Level of trust needs to be on the table at this point. Everybody needs to hear the information. Let's let everybody hear the information.
He looks a little irritated, agitated. He looks around the restaurant. This is not a private enough arena for this conversation. So, excuse me, I will speak with the mistress and I'll return momentarily. Please be comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Does Bjorn walk in after we've had the conversation with Jacques?
About the time Jacques stands from the table, you see Bjorn shoulder himself into the frame of the door, and he casts a shadow. Definitely.
Does Jacques recognize it?
Jacques seems preoccupied and does not even give attention to Bjorn's entrance.
Okay. I figured that we wouldn't have as good of a bargaining chip if Bjorn was there. So good on Bjorn for taking a slow exit or entrance.
Give the group a what the hell shrug.
Hey, do you want the drink here?
Bjorn, you watch the slender man from the table stand up, walk over to a heavy wooden door, and disappear from your line of sight as the rest of the group is seated around a table that could accommodate up to 8.
Walk to the table, but don't sit. Where is he going?
He's going to see if he can make arrangements. He wanted take only a few of us up to meet one of the sisters.
No.
I agree. We're not.
Who's he going to talk to?
One of the sisters.
Why only one of them?
I don't know. But apparently they're very paranoid, and it's probably because of something like your axe.
Yes, it couldn't possibly be your hunting rifle.
No, that's in a case, and it's a beautiful
Blame
case.
it on Bjorn. That's okay. I have broad shoulders. Unlike you, my friend. Find a table or a booth that's about 2 removed from the group and sit to where I can see them and the door that Petite Minot went through.
If as you walk away, I'm gonna say we'll not be staying here. We're going up. So will you follow? When
I will be certain to file a flight plan with you.
I appreciate that, Captain.
If you go up the stairs, of course I will go up.
Good. He's going to be in lead, so you can file in behind us. Perfect.
Bjorn, you find a long bench that runs the length of about a 20-foot wall. It services 3 different tables. There are chairs that surround the tables in a way that allows you to sit pretty much anywhere you want.
Wave down a waitress, order coffee and bacon.
I just look across at Cornell like, the dads are fighting.
I feel you, Robin. I feel you. My 2 dads.
It's one of those families.
The waitress brings you a cappuccino. A couple minutes later, says the bacon.
Look at this tiny little cup with disdain.
What the fuck?
Are the regular size cups broken?
You wish for a Vinlander?
Yeah, or 6 of these into 1 cup.
She turns. You get that Clobian vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw her off.
And she's getting the Norman blue collar vibe.
That's right.
She returns a few minutes later with a very large mug of brown liquid, sets it down, doesn't spill it, but it laps up against the edges.
That's all right. I don't want to spill half of it drinking it.
She returns about a minute later with some fire-cooked bacon slabs. There's 3 of them on a plate. They're a 1/4 inch thick.
Is this the diet plate? Let's do this again.
She rolls her eyes so hard you can hear the squealing in the back of her head from the mechanism.
Pastries.
Retreats towards the kitchen area. The bacon in front of you looks like something you longed for when you were in the trenches. This was the kind of thing that got you through so many of those battles you endured. If I could have one more stripe of bacon.
Oh, I'll bet it doesn't even taste like trench rabbit.
You bite into that crispy exterior, the salty brine with the fatty underlayment just floods your mouth. You're vapid for a minute.
Yeah, I try not to bite my own fingers as I cram it into my hole.
You look down and those 3 little strips of bacon are already gone, and you're like, fuck.
Who took my bacon?
Where did it go?
She returns a minute later with 3 more strips of bacon.
It's clear our table isn't going to get any service because you're in
very, very small bacon. But use the grease on the plate to keep up with my mustache wax.
She does, with the second set of bacon, deliver a small loaf of bread to you to sop anything up.
Into pastries? Don't forget the pastries.
Do you request pastries?
Yes, please.
She looks defeated, like she can't win this battle. shrugs, goes back towards the counter.
You're not the first to think that, my dear.
Robin is
Robin-
secretly offended because that's the first time she's ever heard him say please, and it was never to her.
That's because this waitress is not a lesbian.
Robin, the waitress that was waiting on Bjorn, stops at your table, looking pensive. May I get you something?
In absolutely native Clovian, she asked for a couple of pastries that are, croissants with chocolate inside of it, and I'd like some of that bacon.
Can I recommend the blackberry patisserie?
Oh, that sounds good.
She makes a note. She writes way more than anything that you asked for, and then leaves. A few minutes later, she returns with your coffees for the table, a couple of pastries. Each of you sees something in front of you that clearly has been brushed with egg whites and it's perfectly browned. There's a little black patch at the center that seems lumpy and berry-like. She smiles, winks at Cornell.
Yeah. Locked in.
Nice.
He still got it.
Your bacon will be up in just a moment.
Merci.
She departs. You watch her retreat. At about that same moment, the door that opened for your contact opens once more, and you see Jacques come back into the room. I can get you in for a meeting with Stefano.
Sathanos. Okay.
If you give me 5 minutes, then she'll be prepared for you. I must use the restroom. Excuse me.
Nod at him and
He moves his
just
way towards the back door, and your game master retreats as well.
oh,
The inspiration.
Bjorn scowls and shakes his head slowly at everybody else at the table.
Cornell follows Jacques Lamont into the bathroom to make sure he's not up to any funny business.
What did you do to him in the bathroom?
I will pee outside. I do not want to demasculate anyone in the men's room.
oh,
Good to know.
the dip strip is not happening, huh?
Are you gonna pause?
Not really.
All right. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm probably actually gonna pick up something to a
Add to?
libation to add to whatever I am going to deposit later.
Yes.
Boom.
Open something too.
Oh man. All the rest of this is a bad idea.
Where'd it go?
That's what happens. That's what happens. Yeah, I decided to dip into more libation. But the problem is that I'm running out of other liquids. I want to.
Ooh, underground.
I don't know if this is a good idea at all, but I'm gonna do it.
I'm trying to decide whether to stay with High West or move to something else.
You don't have any more High West, right?
I've got a smaller bottle,
Mm.
one of these little ones.
I don't want to say it out loud, but I've never actually bought High West. I've always had it at like bars and stuff like that, but I've never bought it.
How dare you!
Shh! You weren't supposed to hear that.
It's pricey, I think.
It's a little spicy. I mean, but like use the
Pricey.
High Prairie.
Pricey.
Pricey.
This,
Oh, pricey.
this is my new favorite, though.
So I can't find that at the Class 6.
Really?
It was only at the one up here on, not Harrison, the one close to Harrison, whatever it is.
So I got to go to Ogden's Class 6 state liquor store to get it.
course.
I'm rationing it to myself. The one on Harrison and what is it? 30, no, 40, 20, right by Ogden High School. What is that one? Patterson.
Yeah, Patterson. Yeah, you're right.
They had a few bottles there. They didn't have
Wait,
them by the
it's
mall.
right by the high school?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Old Elk is kind of outside of my normal price range for
Right.
It's in the 40. I think it was $44.
But you find that more worthwhile than
a High
Well,
West.
So High West
West.
is in that same price range, right? It's like
right.
it stings a bit to put it in your cart.
That's why I've never bought it. But every so often, I mean, Old Elk, is it Utah made or is it something else?
Old Elk is, I think, Kentucky.
Blended straight bourbon whiskey.
From?
Let me grab the bottle here.
And get your reading glasses.
Make me work here.
Bring it way down.
Bring it down. Bring it down.
Oh, this is actually good.
Bourbon whiskey.
So Underground has a tendency to hit me a little too hard lately, just because of the amount of sugar in it. But a little bit of bubbly and some ice, nice. It actually works.
Fort Collins, Colorado.
Colorado. All right, represent.
What?
Somebody represent. Nobody's from Colorado here that I know of.
That's awesome. Every time I buy a bottle of bourbon, part of my ancestry cringes a little bit because of Kentucky.
Hey, well, never mind. I was raised there. I wasn't born there either. Go right ahead.
I'm just saying that good old boys and my ancestry don't align very well.
And yet you're drinking bourbon. But anyway.
Yeah, so I cringe a little bit, but I drink anyway.
Well, I drink schnapps. Schlager.
I drive a German car and a Japanese car.
Yeah, if you look at my driveway, I support Germany and I support. Well, I guess I'm
multicultural. Just
3/4 Jeep, 1/4 Porsche.
Yeah.
You pretty much got the entire European theater of operations covered.
I have Normandy in my driveway.
Go Auto Union.
Oh my gosh. So the module you turned into a screenplay, John?
Yeah.
Silver Arrow?
Yeah. Nothing happened to it. We had some film interest. We're really excited about it in Hollywood.
Yeah, well, getting people's attention is hard.
Well, and both the film agent and my agent said it probably would have moved forward, except that was the same year that Ron Howard released that stellar racing movie, his Formula One bomb.
Oh,
I don't even think I saw it. And it did so poorly that the studios ran from anything involving racing. So we'll see if the new decade changes.
Such a different feel.
What was interesting about the screenplay and the module is that it was really the predecessor to Burgundia.
Really?
Well, think about it. It was set up in that pre-World War II space.
Yeah, it was in the mid-30s.
Yeah, and it was centered around a race, right? So all of the characters were involved in a staged race from in the module. It was from the outskirts to Berlin, but I think you did it in reverse in the screenplay so that they were near the border for an escape.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the whole inspiration came from that whole Auto Union Silver Arrow exploration. Those cars were so freaking badass.
Yeah.
And that was all before Arrow was employed. So these vehicles were hitting crazy speeds with 12-cylinder motors and nothing holding them on the ground and skinny little tires.
Right.
These guys were the most badass pilots that ever lived. People in airplanes had a distance between the ground and them. These guys were immediately going to die if they made a mistake.
Oh, man.
I keep a silver arrow on the shelf.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
So you mentioned that was a module.
Yeah, so when was that, John? Was that like early 2000s?
Oh my God.
I remember it.
Well, I know it was at least 10 years ago. I have to renew my registration with the Writers Guild
Uh-huh.
to keep it locked in. I haven't done that in a while. So, but the way copyrights are, ever since 1977, as soon as you write it, it's copyrighted, whether you register it or not. But films get stolen a lot more often than books. So I gave it a shot, but we'll see. I'm still considering turning that into a novel.
Still, one of my favorite lines from that was close enough.
That's right. That was right at the climax.
Yeah, they were trying to escape across the border from Germany into
France.
And the French were situated on a mountaintop with howitzers and all kinds of military equipment, but they couldn't do anything to fire in to help the escaping agent as he made his way towards the border. And at the last minute, our protagonist is like getting ready to make it out, but there's an airplane, a German airplane, sweeping in to strafe him. I'm like, oh, he's gonna die. And suddenly the airplane bursts into flames, and the general, who was not going to intervene because he hasn't crossed the border, he's like, close enough.
More or less. It's good.
That was a fun one. I enjoyed that one.
The Herger Hauer Cup.
Oh man, you remember it better than I did.
These collaborations go back for a number of years.
Yes, indeed.
Burgundy was just our most recent excuse to share a world.
Yep.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that's a fun screenplay. I haven't written another one since. We did get some interest in your favorite book, The Mangroves.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that book.
I wrote about half of it sitting at your counter.
Really?
Oh yeah.
The spiders, just the jungle in that book was just creepy.
Yeah, it's a little
There was
oppressive.
no reprieve.
Yeah.
It's better to be bombed than to retreat through the mangroves.
Then you captured one of the central points of the whole story.
Well, and there were a couple of characters that you're rooting for, right? You're watching this entire Japanese military company dissolve as it tries to retreat through this melange of nastiness that is this jungle in a brackish environment. And just as they're like getting out of it, you're like, they're going to escape it. They're not going to die here. The alligators, the crocodiles, whatever, it's not going to be eaten. They're not going to be destroyed. And then British gunboats. Are you shitting me? There's everybody going to die. It's a perfect John.
It's a perfect
John. It would be
Yeah.
those survivors.
I did have a bit of a grim ending, but poetic.
Yeah, if your poetry is blood-soaked.
As it is.
Yeah, kind of is.
But we haven't heard back from, because the way it works is that some nobody producer wants to option the story, and if they option it, then they've got 12 to 18 months to find a studio and funding and actors and location, and they usually sample it, do a light shop on it, and then if there's interest, then they'll option it. which still doesn't mean that it gets made into a movie. That just gives him a chance to. And that one was probably about 3 months, and then we never heard anything back from it. And my agent said this kind of shit happens all the time. You've got a better chance of getting hit by lightning than having your story greenlit for an actual movie. So if it happens, then you earn your 2.5% on the front and 5% on the back. Which, if it's a big budget movie, that can be a lot of money.
Be a lot of money. You can be like, totally set.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a miserable business. It sounds like every
It
time I
is.
hear it, I think, wow, what a barrier to success. But
Yeah,
anyway.
you really do have to catch lightning in a bottle. But the second Burgundia book will be ready for review by Thanksgiving. And book 3 is halfway through the rough draft.
Fantastic.
And is Keith the reviewer?
I was planning on sending it to all 4 of you, if that's
All
cool.
right. You rock. Thank you.
Shit, when I got it back, the first one back from Eric, he was using track changes, and I'm like, he sounds a lot like my editor. Should I send back the nasty comments like I do to my editor?
You're a punk ass. Just shut up.
You're infringing on my creative vibe.
I am abused.
I can't work this way. Where's my prop gun?
Too soon?
Was it too soon the first time? Oh well.
You know, I feel really badly for that. I mean, I don't know what the circumstances were exactly behind pulling the trigger on that. But
Right.
when somebody hands you a cold gun, you pull the trigger for whatever reason, and somebody perishes.
Yeah.
That's gotta wreck your.
Yeah. I don't. It's just if you are goofing off, or I mean, what were they doing? That
It was during an actual scene. It was supposed to have blanks in it, and somebody put live rounds in it.
Oh my gosh! I just
So the responsibility, I think, is a little spread out.
yeah.
It's just ironic that Baldwin is such an anti-gun guy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It is like the worst. He's the worst person to have.
I don't think the movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think the movie's gonna go forward. I mean, like, can you imagine? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's
They stopped production. It's done. That
It's
movie's
done.
never happening.
yeah.
He needs to make a movie with the women from The View.
I am very sorry for what happened.
John, in the United States of America, everyone can say whatever the hell they want to, and you just did. Very well.
What country have you been in?
Burgundia, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Haven't you been paying attention?
Let's journey back there.
Cornell, you're seated at the table when your contact stands and motions for you to follow him. It seems like the motion is to all of you, but it's just specifically towards you.
Cornell looks at the table and makes sure everyone is getting up with him, and then he follows.
I mean, like the croissant is going down first.
You guys are still fighting the memory of those chocolates.
I am in love with those chocolates. I am not going to cleanse.
Bonnie
my
still
palate.
has one tucked into his cheek.
Like a big
Squirreled that
squirrel.
second one away.
It's gonna be there for a while. Why are you slobbering chocolate? That's so gross.
It's his snuff.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
If
I
there's
make
greater
sure everybody's
pairing than chocolate and coffee, you don't know it.
Oh,
That's all right.
yeah. I stand and step behind Cornell. I don't even have to look behind. I guarantee that our big man is holding up the rear.
You know, like I said, I trust him.
Right.
He's going to do what he needs to do.
You guys shuffle up a narrow stairwell. This thing was probably built before your grandfather's grandfather's grandfather was alive. And you make your way up this tight stairwell. Eventually, you open up into a small A-framed room with wooden floors, some rugs, a couple of couches set off to a side. In front of you is a doorway set in the middle of kind of that A-frame apex. There's a couple of writing desks in here, a drafting desk, and what looks like an accountant's desk. You see a number of books, titles talking about actuarial stuff. The man in front of you stops momentarily at the door. It is all of you then?
It is all of us. We all need to hear this.
He swallows hard, opens the door. Inside, you see a room that reminds you of a tiny cathedral. There's colored light coming in through multicolored glass windows. There's a desk at the far end of the room and a number of low couches. The side walls are angled like before, but somebody has built bookcases into the sides of these things that are just deep with old knowledge. At the far end of the room is a woman with dark hair and a white band of hair coming out from that. She's a little heavy, looking like somebody who was probably very attractive in her 20s, 30s, and maybe even 40s, but she's bridging on 60 now and isn't in her prime anymore. Lines around her mouth, furrowed lines on her head. She looks your direction, and her dark eyes hint at a lifetime of adversity. She motions for you to sit on the low couches. There's even something that looks like a beanbag nearby that this puffy floor pillow could be propped up to be sat upon.
Is there an actual chair besides the couches?
There's her chair, her desk, and a gallery of places that feel like loafing chairs.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's the stoner's house.
Did you walk through a beaded curtain? No.
No.
You might as
Okay,
well
sorry.
have.
Yeah, and there's not a cloud here. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna move.
You have to stand in the center of the room. If you move 2 or 3 feet in either direction, you've got to bend your neck.
Right.
Yeah.
Corner will sit down, but he's gonna take the edge of the couch. You know, he's not loafing back into it. He's on the front 6 inches of the couch.
If Banny is standing still to the back of the room?
I'm standing. I'm going to be basically in the center. I'm going to be taking front and center on the. I assume that's my role right now.
Right.
So
Robin will take back corner and let you be up in front of her.
Bjorn closes the door and then leans back against it.
She casts her gaze your direction, Bjorn. You feel a connection. You also feel her power. She's looking at you and measuring as you're doing the same to her. She leans back in her chair, satisfied that she's not at risk.
She doesn't know I'm measuring her for a casket.
She climbs her fingers up towards a drawer by the side of her desk. Her nails open it a couple inches. You see her claw something out and palm it, and then pass it between her hands as she waits for you to get comfortable. The man who brought you up here
Are there
seems
any animals, birds, cats, anything like that in here?
nothing living but you and her.
Yeah, any dead animals, birds, or cats?
Oh yeah, there's taxidermied. Oh, they're all over the place. They're all staring at you. And when you move, they move. Bum, bum, bum.
The man who brought you up here gives a bow of fealty towards the death. He retreats back to a corner of the room and stoops so as not to let his head strike the ceiling, and gives you guys audience.
You gonna introduce us, Jacques? I look over at him and I say that.
My lady, Seteno, I introduce the Naptrichter group. He remembers each of your names and goes around the room and gives you a proper introduction. They insisted on meeting as a group, as you understand, and I present to you Naptrichter.
I bow to the lady.
You see her pull a pipe from a box, pack it, strikes a match, tugs at it, blows a couple of smoke rings.
My lady, come to help.
Thank you for taking the time to travel to our distant shores. I'm sure it is obvious that we are in turmoil at this time. My assistant here tells me that you have questions.
Bless you.
Bless you. Yes, we have a number of questions, and maybe an ask.
Who speaks for your group?
I'm speaking from the group. I look around and make sure I do take counsel for my group, though.
Do you want me to question her?
No, pipe down.
That's the right answer.
No, I take counsel from my group, but I will speak for the group.
Monsieur Elkind, please proceed.
We came here for a particular cause. We know that we have aligned in our purpose at this moment, but I feel like this is an unfair balance. We don't know nearly as much as we need to do our jobs, and I think that you could probably lean in a little bit to help. There's a lot of things on the plate. One of those things is the fact that you're not really playing the same game we are. You're not playing by the same rules we are. We're going to look over that in this instance. You know what I'm talking about?
She blinks.
We understand your sister's demise, and we understand what your remedy to that demise was. You're putting a lot of people at risk.
She casts a gaze across the room to her assistant. You feel a cold shiver, a bridge of ice.
Yeah. Hey, if he didn't tell us that, we would not be able to do our jobs. We need to know everything that's going on in this place so that we can strike and strike true.
She moves her gaze from you over to Bjorn. Wouldn't you be more comfortable if you had a chair?
No.
We're not far from your shores, Norman. Your axe, your ancestry, all your venom is well spent on the enemy. It is not necessary here.
Give her a practiced smile and gesture back at Danny.
Did Blanca sit down, or am I the only one sitting?
Not awkward.
She found what looks like a footstool, put toward the back of the room. She's using it as a bench. She's sitting awkwardly on it.
Okay.
We are aligned in this moment, in that we have a similar purpose. The Blood Prince will not leave these confines. He has destroyed part of my family and upset business arrangements. I am willing to move heaven and earth to see that he does not see another sunrise, which is partially why you are here. We are rebuilding our network after the loss of my sister. But we have also introduced something to the city which is untenable. It was a mistake we will not repeat, but it must be dealt with.
It's true.
We have started machinations to deal with her, but in her current form, she is very powerful.
Is she powerful enough to send against the Blood Prince?
She is transformed into a creature which is beyond full understanding, but I believe she is now a servant of death. The locals call her Lady Usher. That is a pale comparison to her true powers. She is a Deathbringer. To see her is to invite her wrath. I have lost 2 of my agents trying to dispel her. I don't know how many more I can afford before it cuts deeply. I don't bring you here to cast you into this well, but you must understand she is death and cannot be bargained with. She must be destroyed.
Does she not want revenge?
Forgive me for interrupting. We're not here to deal with your sister.
That is not your choice.
It is our choice.
Well, that is arrogance then. For if you operate in her theater, you are on stage for her.
If we operate at night, from my understanding.
Yes. The Blood Prince knows this too. He will use it for his escape.
Then we let her take care of him. And all of our problems are solved and we go home happy.
I did tell my assistant that this was a measure of recourse for your team. He offered you a token, which you dismissed.
We'll take it.
She is drawn to family, which is why my sister and I cannot venture out, for her wrath is bent upon us. But she will take any in that path.
Then I say, first off, we all learned a lesson here, didn't we? Second, I'm sorry of your loss. I'm sorry that you did lose your sister in this. But really, we are here for the Blood Prince, as my friend here mentioned. If it does fall within our charter to do so, but we are not a cleanup crew and we're not a hit squad. We are here to extradite or eradicate, if necessary, the Blood Prince.
She paws at the drawer in her desk, and pulls it open from a couple of inches to half a foot. She pulls out a curled slip of paper and puts it on the desk. You see her assistant on the far side of the room scamper forward and grab the little curl of paper and bring it over and hand it to you. This is the home of your target.
Check to see if it says 214.
No. You have an address. You do a little bit of the calculations. It's about a block and a half from the college. It is in the area indicated near the hotel.
Can you
Up in the
scroll on the map?
Let me find it.
Roll.
Chateau
Chateaubriand
Briand. Chateaubriand.
or City Hotel.
See my marker?
Yep.
Mhm.
Right there.
He's staying at the $1 sign City Hotel? Let's
He's
go.
In the corner, or is he that little box?
Okay, there. Some apartments
Oh,
there.
that apartment. Okay. Apartment over there. So he traverses this when we were talking with your your man here. When we were talking with him, he says that he goes home, but do we know how frequently, or do we have any sort of intelligence on when?
His hours are not predictable, but he does go home every night.
Does go home every night. Okay, so what is his animal? Do you have any idea?
The hound?
Mm-hmm.
We think it is something of his research, some focus.
A focus. Not really sure.
He has his research, to our knowledge, is a blend of machinery and magic.
Mm.
But it dips into the regions beyond the veil.
Oh.
So,
We
well,
have seen a striped sky, dark scars that fade over time.
Wait,
These are part of his research.
the animal does this, or he does this?
It is unclear as to the origins. Perhaps the creature is a mechanism for deploying holes in the rift. Holes in the
What comes first? Let me ask. There have been several murders. Your sister. All of which have left a residue, a breach, a hole between worlds. Is this initiated by her, or is it initiated by this creature?
Both are true.
Okay.
We attempted to ambush him on his way home. And I don't know if he was alerted to our presence or whether we were slow on the attack. My sister succumbed to shadows.
What do you mean by shadows?
They pulled the life from her like one drains a sink.
He's using... gosh. It's gruesome. Why did you attack? You knew him for who he was, and you approached?
My sisters and I, for years, worked to dissemble much of what Clovia stands for. The Witch of Augustina is a network that fights against this tyranny of burning witches and destroying casters.
Mhm.
This entire operation, she gestures to the building, is a means to pay for this assault, counter assault on Clovier. The fact that we discovered this Prince of Evil within our own walls drew us to action. We conspired for weeks, setting plans in place. And when we descended upon him, we were not ready. Whether he has support from the Clovian government or not, this man unto himself is a threat to all who oppose him. I have offered through my assistant here that we can create a distraction. Before last night, he only saw us as a threat. I believe you have included yourself now in that gambit.
Oh, we've got a lot of firepower, but it's going to take a little bit more.
I hope your guns are the measure that will resolve his existence. Our magic has fallen short.
In that case, how would you help? If we were to go against him, could you dismantle any of the illusions, any of his abilities, his capabilities, or maybe even shut down the scrying so that we could assault him directly inside of the college?
The college, the academy has its own membership. There are a number of powerful wizards there whom we do not directly oppose, but we respect.
Mm-hmm.
We have a treaty with them. They will not produce this blood prince, but they will not oppose us either. The rules of engagement are to leave the campus alone.
Understood. So in the thing that we are looking for, when the Blood Prince does expire, which we expect he will, is that we are supposed to go and gather his materials and make sure that his research does not fall into the wrong hands.
This dog is part of his research, but there is a further extension we have not discovered. Something larger he wishes to export, which is why King Clodowig wishes to rescue him from us.
Understood.
Bjorn leans forward off the door. Volva,
Ah,
you and your sisters, you are Volva, yeah?
she gives a brief nod, fairly registered.
And the three of you could not defeat him. And you present yourselves as quite powerful, which I will give you the respect you deserve. But what is it that you think we can do that the three of you could not?
We are metaphysical. You are physical. He cannot defend two fronts at the same time. I understand you have dispatched his honor guard, which means he is vulnerable. He has a tremendous ego, which is well supported by history. He is capable of much destruction. You have asked what we could do to help you in completing your mission. We could plan a second assault.
That works. We would appreciate your help. If we're here on your soil, we kind of expect it. Your power is something that we don't know. I work with many casters.
You see her eyes flick to Blanca briefly.
More more than just her. What can you do? What can you lean into for this?
The elements are at her disposal. The tides are at our disposal. We can move the waves against them. They do not venture onto the beaches, so we cannot lash at them with the waves. But if they could be coerced outside these walls in any way, we could drag them into the sea and drown them.
I hold out a finger and point it towards Cornell and say, what's the name of their boat? Their yacht?
I don't
That's
have it
the
written down.
It's
Moliere.
Mohair. Or something.
Moliere.
Moliere.
They do have a yacht that I believe one of their principals is on.
How deep is the water?
It's a yacht's probably parked, so I don't expect it to be in deep water.
We must be able to call on the strength of a kraken in order to summon these waves. If they are protected behind the shoals and in safe harbor, they are beyond our reach. On the open sea, we can suffocate any man.
They will be on the open sea, but I guarantee it's not right now. I'm not even going to question your capabilities. That's pretty impressive. But the waves are outside. The elements are primarily outside. What can you do within these four walls?
Beyond the network of eyes,
Network of eyes is actually very useful.
we can deploy our agents. We can give you information. There is a little bit of a delay, perhaps a minute. But if you are looking to encounter this blood prince between his college and his home, there is almost too little time to relay the messages. But if you are already on site, blocking this path with an agent in place, we can let you know when he leaves the university.
That is what we're looking for. We need a map of this area. Detailed. We need access to rooftops.
She picks up the pipe on the desk that has been smoldering. She tugs on it. You see the cherry light from across the room. She blows some smoke, pulls the center drawer from her desk. Her taloned hands pull out a piece of parchment, push it to the table. You see her assistant cross the room and grab the parchment.
While he's moving across, I am going to sign to Blanca. Does she have a magic aura?
She is protected, is the response.
Any illusions?
She is as she seems.
Yeah. Okay.
He grabs the paper, retreats back to the point where he has to duck his head, and then hands it to you, Banny. You see a detailed drawing of the apartments within a few blocks of his, all the way over to the university. You also see the subterranean features in the area, mapping the tunnels beneath the city.
I fold it just a little bit and I hand it over to Cornell. This will be helpful. Does he have a usual path? Does he take varying routes as well as varying times?
He is an unpredictable creature. The only thing we know is his destination and his origin. He has taken coffee from time to time. He strolls the beach on others. There have been occasions where we have known of his passing only by the detection of magic. He has the power of collocation.
What does that mean?
He can teleport.
Is his building protected at all?
There are sigils and wards. Part of this was the folly of our earlier mission. We succumb to things that are not detectable by magic, but may assault those who transgress.
I hate to be destructive, but he is on the corner of a very large building. Is he up on upper floor?
We believe he does not sleep on the material plane.
Understood.
He has a pocket of nether space into which he retreats, so my sister says.
Speaking of your sister, is she going to help us? Are you going to communicate with her?
Uriel is busy at the moment, but she will assist me in coordination of this assault. We must work together to finish this encounter.
Mm-hmm.
This man must not leave the confines of the city.
Your sister.
Uriel. Yes.
Anya?
Uriel.
Anya is the other sister,
Anya. No, I mean Anya.
The- dead sister.
The sister who's deceased.
Yes.
Your sister.
Our youngest sister, yes.
Did anything that she held fall to him? Did
If he took some measure of her, I don't know it. We recovered her body. We brought her back here. We performed a ritual on her to return her to life. That is when the ritual failed.
well?
Have you performed this ritual before? Did you expect it to work?
This is not the first time we have engaged with spirits and rejoining them with the corporeal form, but this is the first time we have an intervention from chaos.
What do you mean? An intervention?
We were rejoining her with her body when an anomaly took place. She shot up from her body. It moved around in the behavior of a shaken doll and then fell back to its bed. A moment later, the shutters flew open and her spirit ran out into the streets. We were not able to bring her back, but she has returned.
Interesting. I actually take a glance back at Bjorn to see what his reaction is to that.
Well, Bjorn doesn't remember the last time he was this unhappy. And he really wants to share something with you, but he's not sure this is the right place to do it.
Do I see that in his gaze?
Well, he's not a real
Communicative
kind of
person.
obfuscating kind of guy.
Yeah.
But he's usually scowling.
I'm gonna see. Oh, that's a 20.
Oh.
That's nice. I am going to hold a finger up and I'm gonna walk down to Bjorn. You got something to say?
Well, the two of you are within, a foot of each other. Off to your left, you see Blanca seated on this micro stool.
knees around her ears.
Yeah.
What's on your mind?
You will think I'm being a superstitious fool, but I will tell you anyway. In Norse mythology, there is a goddess called Ran. She's a goddess of the sea. She has 9 daughters. These daughters are powerful sea witches, and they can manifest as waves. And the folklore sounds a great deal like what this person is telling us, as far as ensnaring people at sea and pulling them under. I don't know what we're dealing with sitting in that chair over there. And the more I hear about the blood prints, the more I'm wishing we had brought the goat mage and added the firepower.
I agree.
But we are being lied to for purposes that are not being revealed and will not be revealed.
So tell me, what are we being lied to about so I can get through this?
Why did they attack him? It makes no sense.
They've
It
given
wasn't for revenge. The sister died after they attacked him.
it was for revenge though, because the witches are burned by this man and he went around and killed a whole bunch, and I'm sure that there was family in there.
Then if they are part of this great coven, why have they not drawn from their own ranks to do battle with this person? Why reach out to an innocuous little group in Burgundia and summon them here? It doesn't smell right to me. Now, I will tell you, I will tell Cornell, I will go down swinging regardless of what the mission is. But something is not right.
I agree. Things don't line up.
That is all I have to say, and I cannot help but think that we're sitting and speaking to a sea witch or maybe even a sea goddess. We are 50 miles from Normandy.
I nod my head, turn and walk up the stairs, and stand in front again. So, how do we make these arrangements so that your eyes can see and let us know what's going on?
I will engage the network. I will provide my man here as the trigger. You will know when the blood prince leaves the campus. He will stay with you until that time so that you are aware. We, my sister and I, will wait for an opportunity to deploy our forces against him. Should he leave the walls and the safety of the harbor, we will act.
You heard the name that I gave you of that yacht. That is the yacht that they will be expected to leave on.
I will send my men to get eyes on this yacht so that we know it intimately. Once that has transpired, they cannot escape us by ocean.
And if he travels overland?
Then perhaps your bullets will be his measure.
So there is no help from you if he travels overland. It's important that we all know where we stand.
That is a fair assessment, though it is not the full manual.
I do not think that we are going to have much time. We are a known quantity, just like you said. They're going to come after us again. We've had a good night's rest, and I think it's the last one we're going to get. So it is a now or never situation.
We can prevent ingress from any kind of support he might call in, but only temporarily. If you wish a private meeting with the Blood Prince, we can provide a 24-hour window where he cannot have any assistance from outside.
How so? Tell me how that works.
There are 7 ways into this city.
Okay, I can get you. He, however, has the ability to co-locate, like you said. Him looking through bars and projecting himself to the other side, and I've seen it. I understand how that works. Doesn't thwart him. So how do you really propose to keep him in these walls?
I'm offering you that he will get no backup for 24 hours. That is the measure of my network and our power.
Well, I can reach him at a distance. Rifle. I do not expect... I should ask. Is there any reason why we would want to keep him alive?
He has not earned the right for another breath to draw.
It is one of our potential outcomes that we do take him alive.
That is on you. When he is removed from this turf, perhaps we will forget him and all of his crimes.
No, you can hold on to his crimes. I look over at Cornell, I look at the rest, and see if there's any other questions or thoughts.
What is your plan for your sister once we leave?
Excuse me?
The plan for your sister once we leave.
We will find a way for her to reach peace.
Is she completely untouchable? Even incorporeal, we can lay down a lot of heat.
She is not untouchable, but to encounter her at any range is to encounter her personally.
Oh. Understood.
My sister and I will not venture out at night until she is destroyed.
Which means she's,
You won't venture out at night.
you won't destroy her if she remains.
And what if the Blood Prince is moving at night and we need to take him? Then also there will be no interference?
I have offered a token of distraction which will give her focus. My manservant gave you this option but a day ago.
I will take it now, if you have it.
He produces a trinket from his pocket, hands it to you. This will gather her ire. If you wish her as a distraction, you must only deploy it visually towards her. She will come to you first and foremost.
It must be deployed visually. She's not attracted to it when it's hidden. It is. We're safe to carry it. Is what I'm asking.
She nods. Wherever this is deployed, she will arrive. It is, and she references a religious ceremony, coming of age kind of thing. This was hers when she was christened, sanctified, whatever the word you want to use. It's
Like
a very
initiate
old token,
style, or-
and she reviles it. She wants it destroyed. It is repugnant to her. She cannot not deal with this object.
I reach or I take the object and I hand it to Blanca.
You see, it's an old Visigonian, not Visigonian, yeah, sorry.
Norman?
Vidician?
Venetian token.
Venetian. Okay.
It represents the 4 gods.
Right.
It looks like something given to a younger person as a part of their coming of age ceremony.
CTR ring.
Guess don't have the ceremony of coming of age around this town.
I look at Robin and wonder what she's talking about. Anyway. I think we have what we need as long as we have an open line of communication through your man here.
He is at your disposal.
Welp.
He stands, moves towards the door, and looks pensive.
We leave you in peace, but know that we may have more questions, and we will take them through your man here. Just realize that we're not exactly on the level. I don't feel like we're getting the entire truth, but that's okay. The situation is flexible. We're used to dealing with not having a whole lot of intelligence. But I will say that if there's anything that you are withholding from us that would do us good in taking this man down, and if my team hurts or people die unnecessarily, I'm going to be talking to you again.
You see a curl on the side of her lip. Probably a smile.
Come off the door again. He's wrong, Volva. If that happens, we won't be talking again. I think it's time for us to go.
She leans back in her chair. You hear the spring crush under her weight. Till then.
Give her a head nod, turn and start walking.
Follow the Viking out.
Yeah, he's just gonna stomp on down those stairs.
He'll play himself out. That's all it takes. It's a good exclamation point. He's the bad cop. I'm the good cop.
I'm gonna pause in front of Jacques on the way out. You know how to reach us at our new location?
Where are you staying?
We are now in the the Golden
Tulip.
Golden Tulip.
He laughs a little bit. Oh my goodness, you are innovative.
Then I assume you know which room we're in.
He nods, tries to mask his smile. His coffee breath hits you in the face. He knows where you're at.
I give him a nod and head down the stairs behind everybody else.
His pointed shoes and tall heels clack behind you as you descend.
Go outside and light a cigarette.
It's refreshing.
Walk away from them, just pacing, scowling, angry.
I am going to walk over to the chocolate shop.
Sugar whore.
Robin will look for a light from Bjorn.
Pass it to you without speaking.
Why don't we go find a private spot and discuss?
I agree.
Chocolate shop. It's brisk business this time of day. Who enters?
I'm just gonna find something. I wonder if they have anything with peanuts in it.
You step inside the shop. There's a man there, balding on top, hair pulled back into a ponytail, He's got an apron on, covered in flour dust, and he smells of chocolate.
Oh God, he's a San Francisco barista.
Let me get close
How can I help
to
you?
What can I get started for you today?
Can I help? Who's next? Oh my god. Anyway.
He hands a box across the counter to a portly woman who excuses herself as she moves past you. He locks eyes with you. You see something you like?
Yeah, I'd like something with peanuts in it.
Oh. But of course.
I could have taken a shit for you.
You see laid out on the counter underneath there is like a long tray with like just a flow of chocolate and lumps and mounds in it. You see him reach in there with a tiny tap hammer and smack it a couple times and pull the chunks out and slide it into a paper bag.
Going.
Set it up on the counter. More or less?
More. Just give me a little bit more. It's probably gonna melt, so yeah, that should do.
He smashes it, pulls it up on the counter. Are you paying in?
I think I have Quinn, but I'll check.
You see the
How
register open up. You see that there is a mix of Quinn and Gallic coin. I can't remember what they are.
The franc?
Wrong. Yeah.
The franc. I guess.
Lucky guess.
Have no idea. Anyway, I'll toss him some Quinn, and well, whatever he asks for, I will give him exact change because he doesn't need a tip.
5 Quinn.
Slide it across to him.
You see the little gold topped things that Blanca came out were almost triple that price.
Oh, of course. That's okay. I got quantity, and it might be quality too.
Yeah, but she paid in bottle tops and McDonald's coupons.
Right. It's all good currency.
Yes, it's
good.
all gold.
Gold.
All gold. So I go
You're
out.
assuming she used any magic or any coin.
We saw her on her tiptoes. Yeah, we know.
Good times. As soon as I step out, I look at Cornell, who probably looks a little aggravated. I'm gonna walk up to him and say, "Okay, boss, all yours. Want some?"
No, thank you though. I'm good on that. Why don't we get a little further than across the street from La Brigantine and find a spot to discuss?
Herod Gods has some really good little closets where you talk.
That's perfect. Nobody goes there anyways.
What?
Why not a cemetery? We can shop for an apartment.
There's a cemetery right next to the Herald God Church.
That works for me.
Yeah, why don't we go pick out some plots?
Suffering will reveal your true nature.
You stand
Oh.
in the shadow of the Herald God Church in a small plot with a little bit of lawn and a lot of stone.
It's a good place for a meeting.
Good plots here.
The little bit of mist that cloaks the city in the morning has all burned off.
That's warm.
You're getting a little bit of reflected light off of the white stone from the Herald God Church, and the group of you stand in a boneyard.
I'm just really enjoying myself, and I hand the bag out to anybody who wants some.
Blanca moves up to your side, looks at the selection. She wrinkles her nose.
No, it's not coated in gold. Is this the problem? You have a problem. You have a real problem. It's the
not
same
a
chocolate.
problem. It's not a problem.
It's the same chocolate. The same.
Cornell blocks those two out. Bjorn,
Peanuts?
what was your read on that?
It got worse as the conversation goes along. and hear me out, and it is a bit scattered. What does any of this have to do with us?
Enemy of enemy.
She has a coven of witches
Mm.
that she maybe can employ, but not at night. She can trap the quarry if he decides to leave at sea, but not at night. And we need to kill her sister. She was more interested in us killing her sister than she was completing this mission. When she discussed the blood prints, all of a sudden details got very thin, very sketchy.
I agree.
Mm.
I agree completely, which is why I got a little touchy when she mentioned that and reminded her that we're not here for that.
Yeah, and I was happy to hear that. She offers to keep Echelon at bay for 24 to 48 hours. How magnanimous of her to protect us from something that we have been eliminating since we arrived.
Yeah.
There is nothing in this for us. We don't even know if this is a real person.
So you don't even think the intelligence is any good?
It transcends into another plane, perhaps the Middle Welkin, perhaps the Nine Hells. We don't know. He doesn't sleep here. His bulldog could be anything, something that, if I heard correctly, can rip open the sky.
We did. I don't know if you saw them. We did see one of these slits that she was talking about. Whether or not it's really the bulldog or it's really the sister, that's up for discussion. But we did see one of these.
It feels like an Echelon commando and a yacht full of thugs would be the easiest part of this entire thing. And how are we supposed to get him from his apartment onto the boat, coax them to go out to sea right when the tide is correct enough to raise the boat basin so that they can get over the edge? Where will we be during all this?
You know, it occurs to me that we are just a hindrance to the sister's plan. Echelon is already planning on extraditing him via yacht. All we have to
Right.
do is not get in her way, and she can kill him.
You would think so.
It's true. Would
It's
he really be that
frustrating.
ignorant about the enemy, one of which he killed?
And I'm still
She
not
seems to
satisfied.
think so.
But I am probably grumpy and probably suffering from a bit of delirium tremens. But this is wrong 6 ways from Wednesday.
Still, it sure stinks more than that bag you're carrying around. That's for sure.
Even with the cologne.
That's the aroma of victory.
Well, yeah, it's getting real sour though.
Don't worry, I'll boil it down to the bones as soon as we get home, if we get home.
If we get home. Well, why don't we do some of our own homework and decide if we actually have a mission here or not? You know, let's get eyes on this blood prints. Let's take a picture of his dog.
Yeah,
If we have
respectfully.
48 hours to make a plan, then let's use it and let's make a plan.
Stick north of the university and see if we can.
They said that they can let us know within a minute of him leaving the university. So if we're in position, we should be there to see him and his dog at least once, and then go from there. It wouldn't be a bad idea to get our own eyes on this yacht as well, though.
Yeah. And perhaps I was the only one that caught this. The sniveling little manservant that works for her seemed to recognize the fact that the Golden Tulip was the place of the Echelon Force, yeah?
They did know where they were, it seems.
And if the Echelon Force is there to protect their sworn enemy, why did they do nothing about it? I'm starting to feel the strings, if that makes any sense.
We can always find a new hotel.
I'm not worried about the hotel.
No, I get it, especially that part, mainly
Well,
because
they
I don't
make a
think
point of running the information in this city.
they're not heavy-handed. They do not actually have the ability to really punch. Everything that she said, yeah, as soon as they're outside of the walls, we can do some stuff with their water. You said it yourself. She has supreme power on the ocean if she is what she is. But that
My
really,
point is that she does have reach inside the city if she's going to shut down all 7 gates for 47 hours,
that's
40, 80
people.
hours.
It's people. That is entirely people driven. And yes, she has sway with people, but her metaphysical punch is not as strong as Blanca's.
What did they succeed in doing? They got one of their sisters killed.
They I mean, that's why I say they don't have the same punch. I think that we have more punch than they do by quite a
And
bit.
therefore, I think that any reliance we put in them is misplaced.
Understood.
I like the idea of putting eyes on the yacht. It's something tangible that we can deal with. I like the idea of putting our eyes on this man. We are not restricted by day or night.
Yep.
And she can tell all the ghost stories she wants to. But if her sister comes for us in the darkness, she will have to face all 5 of us.
Yes.
We are not some lone paper boy who's going to be brought down by a pair of scissors.
Absolutely
I
not.
still think that killing the sister is what they want more than anything else.
Yeah,
I
clean up their
agree.
own mess.
I think they're locked in here until she's dead.
They are. Yeah. And them saying, we will work together to take down our sister. We will remove the curse or whatever. They're pulling at straws. They have no idea how to do that.
Yeah, they want to go out at night. There's nothing that they can do, or they would have done it already.
Mm-hmm.
That is why they need help from the outside. I'm still just being stubborn and not understanding what any of this has to do with the Nock Richter Charter. If this evil archmage is a threat to Burgundia and to peaceful lands, perhaps.
Well, he
That
crossed
is-
borders into Visigonia to hang and burn witches. That is a war crime that puts him in against the Legerdmain Accords, which is why it was handed to Lead, who then passed it on to Nock Richter.
Then that makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, he's notorious, absolutely notorious, according to both Blanca and Angelica.
He's a complete war criminal.
Yeah.
And I think it's more than that. Like, I don't think he's a direct threat to Burgundia, but I think Angelica feels threatened by him. I know Blanca does. Cornell
Well, if he
kinda
has
glances
something
over.
that he's created that is being used and can open rifts in the worlds, then yes, it is a threat.
Then I am all for eliminating him. And whatever we do with his research, we do with his research.
Well, the mission is to bring the research back.
And the echelon that gets in our way is nothing more than that. It's an obstacle to be removed.
Agreed.
But the creature of darkness floating around as a Medusa sister, I don't think that's any of our concern.
It isn't, but it could actually be a tool. That's the thing that changes the dynamic. Placing something like this at the foot of our man may actually
Create the distraction that's needed.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, it has to be displayed. You can't just sneak it into his pocket and have her go after him.
When you say display it, though, I mean, it could be cast down on the ground when we see him.
But then she will target that, not him. You
Mhm.
heard
She
what
wants
the
to
sister
destroy
said. She wants to destroy the item. And sure, that may put her next to him but that after that, all bets are off.
I mean, he killed her, so there's not. I know what you mean.
There may or may not be recognition, but it seemed like she will go through anything between her and the object. If the object is displayed opposite him, or if she does arrive or whatever else, it's a really iffy game. It is not something that seems at all effective. If we do bring her into the fight, it becomes a problem.
If she bore animosity for the one who killed her, would she not have gone after him already?
And
she
that's
has
a
all
fair
the
question.
provocations that she needs.
It's possible he hasn't been out at night.
Yeah.
But if he is this all-powerful archmage, what does he have to fear from this creature? He killed it once. He defeated the sisters.
He didn't actually kill it.
Bjorn, you're a force of nature. Do you go looking for fights in bars, or do you just deal with the ones that find you?
And not when we're drinking. And not when we're drinking. Because
It
you always
depends
looking for
on the
fights.
season.
But you don't just carelessly
Not
spit in the
anymore.
face of
Your point is well taken.
Here,
Also depends on what he's drinking.
although
and that's fair.
the amount of restraint that Bjorn has had in the last little while has been phenomenal. He will kill anything on sight.
And do not blow sunshine up my kilt. I wanted nothing more than to destroy the sea witch in her own lair.
Not only that, I'm saying you actually discreetly approached the mage. You didn't just walk up to her with the axe and just put it right through her forehead.
Well, my first instinct was to drop mustard gas into the middle of the cafe, but that can get a little messy. Do you understand my concerns, or am I just being
Your concerns
grumpy and superstitious?
are absolutely there, and we should be looking at all angles, and I recognize that we need to take this guy out. I don't want to take out their sister for her. It's their mess. They need to clean it up, but it's a civilian problem too. It's on Icenian soil, and we should actually reach out to Icenia and say, hey, this problem exists, but what do we do?
Well, I will tell you this. We had better be very smart and very dedicated to this. Or, and he slaps a headstone, this will be our new home.
It's a good long plot there for you.
No, can I get a plot over at the Venetian church? I think it would be better, personally.
Oh no,
All
you'll
of this
suffer
stuff-
a good long time, so this is better.
Benny, you are already wrapped in a plot.
Is it called marriage? What are we talking about?
You immediately jumped to marriage. I noticed that. Yes.
Eat your peanuts.
Eat your peanuts.
The grown-ups are talking.
I just want to
Blanca,
have.
do you have?
I want oversight. I want to hold that rifle, and I want to make it jump in my hands.
If it happens, it happens. Blanca, do you have anything that you want to add that you spotted that we are missing?
There is an amazing hotel and restaurant on the north end of this town.
All right.
And that's where we can have our dinner before we go out at night and die. That's good.
Last meal is now planned at the Chateau
Briand.
Briand. Very
Here's
good.
the thing,
Okay.
though.
I'm sure they have the best Clovian food possible.
Do I need to wear a tie?
I
You
reach
will
out
need to find a tie.
to Cornell and I
I
say,
look
here.
like a banker.
I reach out to Cornell and say, can I look at the map real quick? That
Yeah.
map. I pull out the map and I target this corner of the apartment building that he goes to. There's this small building. I don't know if it's high or low. There is the City Hotel, which is just up north. I totally think we should go to the City Hotel. It sounds like an amazing place.
Well,
I'm sure
it's
it has
daylight.
amazing food too. Biscuits
It's
and gravy.
daylight. He's not going to be leaving till later this afternoon. Why don't we head to the harbor and get eyes on this ship?
And then it's still daylight. It might be good to scope out his quarters. Not really, maybe, but to
I
see
think
the
that
building.
is dangerous, but we could. Well, yes, of course we're gonna scout it out, but actually trying to get in there.
Right, I didn't mean. Yeah.
If I have a motorcycle, if two of us wanted to go and scout out the
Blanca
ship,
brightens at the hint of a motorcycle.
do you want to divide forces, Cornell? Do you want to take her, or
What
do
are
you
you
want?
suggesting, buddy?
We could. I hate to divide and conquer, but it's going to take us a while to get out to where the yacht is, and to have everybody pile out is a little bit intimidating.
Are they in the harbor or are they
I would
off
expect
the
that
coast?
there is a place for parking boats. There's like a
Couple
docks.
ports. Yeah, you want to be on the inland side where you aren't going to be
Yeah,
jostled,
they're
right?
going to just be in the harbor. I mean, it's not going to be that far out. I mean,
Yeah.
some binoculars or a scope, we're going to be able to spot the yacht, I think.
Okay. If we want to hit the wall, or maybe there's an ingress to the top of the Grand Port, and we can look out over the Grand Port. Don't even have to leave the walls. Thing about it, keep in mind that if he can do what Blanca can, and the boat starts to skim by, and he's like, okay, I'm just going to give everything up and leave everything behind, he could land on the boat and just disappear.
Mhm.
Of course, be eaten by a kraken at that point.
Do we want to take the boat out of the equation?
I've been thinking about it. It sounds like a really good idea, personally.
I like it more now that that hag has said that she can take out boats. I was thinking that maybe that was going to be our possible method of escape if we needed it as a backup. But I don't know if I'd feel comfortable leaving by water if we're
To have the Kraken come up and
Not-
suck you down into
not so
the endless
much.
depths? Yeah.
She casually said it too. It was so casual.
I'm sure we're
That's
good friends.
exactly the thing a sea witch would say.
Cornell?
Yeah.
Let's sink a boat.
I like it.
So do you want the boat, or do you want the motorcycle, and see what?
Here's what I'm thinking. The captain is already on his heels, right? Whether he went to the boat or not to get reinforcements, that's where he's looking to for safety and security. If we remove one more layer of security, we remove him as a threat, because now he knows we've eliminated his team. We've removed any backup he has, and any outreach towards his king is a sign of weakness.
Well, let's head to the harbor and see if we can get eyes on this thing and make a plan to take it out.
Then we go as a whole group and not split.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to sit on the apartment all day.
No, I
And
don't.
if we eliminate the boat, then we close off an avenue of escape. It will force him to go overland if that is still his wish, which, again, part of the gray area. But when we decide to take on the boat, I just need to make a stop at a petrol station.
How much
Filling
gas
up the
is
boat?
left in your vehicle?
We filled it up.
Okay, so you're topped off.
Mm-hmm.
Ding ding.
Yeah, we filled it up on the way in.
That's right. You were a few kilometers out of town when you filled up. Okay.
Do you want to take a cab?
That sounds
Take a
good.
cab to the beach.
To the harbor.
To the harbor. Yeah.
To the harbor beach. The worst beach.
Yeah,
Oh,
stinky.
smells.
The Rocky Beach.
Smells like semen.
They keep offloading. Ugh.
You get from downtown area to the harbor area. You can exit the Grand Port or Bastion Port, your choice.
Wherever there's cabs, I mean, if there are, we're close to a hotel. Are we close to a hotel? It
Or just
doesn't
where you
matter.
want to disembark is being asked. So
The
Grand
place
Port?
is small. We should be able to catch a cab anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sit out onto a major street and then tell the cabbie we want to go to the harbor. And I'm sure he knows the streets better than we do.
Bjorn just needs to lift his kilt. And
Yeah. And I would if I thought it would do anything for you, Robin.
Ding dong.
You arrive at the harbor area. There are a number of masted ships out here. Looks like most of the yachts out here are sailing vessels. The thing that stands out is that there are 2 steam-powered sail vessels in the harbor, both both of them between Grand Port and Bastion Port. The first one you access, you check the name of the registry. It doesn't. The second one, however, is a 60-foot boat with steam power parked outside Bastion Port.
like
Outside
100
of
yards
it,
off.
Like, let's give a little.
Like legal distance.
It's docked right outside of Bastion Port. From here, you can see that there are at least a half dozen people on the boat standing. They're not lounging or sunbathing. They are standing and watching the shore.
Can we see the name of the boat from here?
Yeah, you got a good enough view. It aligns with your predilections.
Olier?
Yep.
Is it at a dock, or are we going to have to take a launch to get out to it?
There is a dock. There is a 15-foot ramp that runs from the shore to the boat.
Bjorn looks for police craft, police boats.
You come the harbor. This side looks like all kind of private pleasure craft. 200 yards across the harbor, you see a bunch of cargo ships on a much more industrial side of the harbor. And just beyond that, you see a couple of police boats next to some tugboats.
Okay.
Get that uniform on and let's go.
That's my uniform. Yeah.
What do you think, Cornell?
I can take a high position.
Bunny, you just want to use that rifle.
I know he does so badly.
The problem with using that rifle is you don't have a suppressor on it.
Absolutely, but 6 people, we're not taking that down with suppressors.
The rampart overlooks the harbor in a very inviting way to Benny.
He starts drooling.
Is there a? I'm just gonna look for entrances. Like, is there tunnels that go into the walls that bring me to the top, or is there like gates or things like that?
Bastion Port and Freebooter Port are the 2 major entrances on that corner of town. The elevated wall that looks over that section is complemented by old iron cannons from a previous era.
For mounting.
We could maybe harvest the suppressor off of Blanca's Ragnar if we had a workshop.
Really?
I thought if we had a can that could be strapped onto this. You know what? We're right next to Corsair. Let's just take a quick stop over there. Let's talk to Jacques. And
Blanca tugs on your sleeve, Manny. She reaches up to the silencer on her Ragnar, and it breaks away. She's like, "Give me your rifle."
I have
She's
to
going to
set it
resize
down.
it for you.
I have to like unbuckle it, pull out the rifle. Okay.
If you're gonna do what I think you're gonna do, make sure you have it lined up.
Here.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I pull the bolt out the back and I hold it down and it's like, okay, mount it up. I'll tell you
What's
when
your-
it's
What's
clear.
your craft check, Cornell?
Mine? Well,
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah,
question.
crafter.
I'm trained in it, but I have 0 intelligence, so 10. 10.
10.
Not bad.
Roll DC 20.
13, so 23.
Yay!
You see she's got it lined up with his barrel, and you immediately have your hackles raised as she's just sticking it on the front and not lining it up. You see her starting to cast, and you're like, "Stop!"
Yeah, I'm not seeing the other side of this.
You have to have that lined up, or it's not going to be catastrophic, but he's going to shoot through the can.
You fish through your bag and find a rod that is appropriate to the barrel to help her align it. You position it, take her hands off of the actual object while you get it lined up and prepare it. That roll's good enough to get it lined up. You're in position. At this point, you feel like she can unleash her chaos on this barrel.
All right, go ahead.
She mends it.
Clever.
That will save us a visit to the shop, won't it?
I think so.
She
You will.
smiles.
There's a reason we bring you Blanca.
Every time.
You see a flush on her cheek. This is somebody who gets excited about being able to use her magic to make everything better.
I mean, you look over at Bjorn, he's like, oh.
She reaches in, pulls out those sunglasses, puts them back on.
Hey, give me one of those messages.
Bunny, why don't you go find a spot up there on the Bastion port?
Don't mind if I
I'm thinking you're looking good in those sunglasses. Do you still have your luggage on you in that coin form?
She holds up the coin.
Why don't you let Bjorn be our manservant carrying it, and we'll go see if we can rent this yacht.
Is there a petrol station nearby?
You stopped on the other side of the bridge just south of here. Actually, you filled up further out, but you saw another one.
Anything in the harbor?
Half a
Not
mile.
everything's
south.
diesel.
There's probably a fueling station for the boats. You don't see it.
If you clear the boat, all you have to do is tap the steam, the steam canister, the steam well. You will light this place up. It will explode.
Put my arm around Banny's shoulder, give him a brotherly smile. Are you really explaining to me how to burn things down?
No, you want to burn things down. I want to blow things up with steam. This is a steamboat. You hit
Pat
this.
him on the head, run along, little sniper, and find your roost, and I will burn this thing down to the waterline.
And I will give you cover. How's that?
Cornell, are we planning on doing this now?
Early in the morning.
Why not?
A boarding action?
Well, then there should be enough fuel in their lines and in their engine room that some of my special toys in my jacket should take care of that without a need to stop at the fuel station.
See, Bjorn, and this is why we bring you.
Yeah, I was thinking tactically to, and perhaps this is too complex, to walk up the dock to the boat, climb the gangplank onto the boat, and start butchering everyone on the boat.
We're in a similar train of thought. I was thinking we go under a little more casually, until we get to the boat, and then we start butchering. But we're roughly on the same page there, I think.
Just curious. Then the exit strategy is
Get
Walk
off the
back
boat before
to
it burns down.
gangplank. Yeah.
okay, and no one on the port will care.
Well, there will be chaos and confusion and screaming, and you have not been at enough of my burning events to really appreciate it.
Just wondering if you can still be inside of the city after, along with the rest of us.
Look at the mayhem we've caused so far and slipped away.
It's fair. One of those we were at least attacked and then we got away. Yeah.
Perhaps we can descend into Benny's beloved sewer tunnels.
Oh, that sounds tasty. And also, the police are not in the city. They're over there. The police craft may come, but they have to... You know how fast this kind of stuff goes. It goes down very fast.
If Benny can hit his targets as he has been boasting,
I will hit my targets.
this should not take terribly long. But you are correct. There probably should be at least a sketch of a plan on how to get out of this area. I would think that we would just go scampering into the Corsair district, which sounds a little shady, and lose ourselves in the population. But
I think... Yeah. The La
Perhaps we
Brigantine is basically the hole that everybody climbs into when stuff like this happens, it seems like.
I don't know that we should lead the enemy back to the Sea Witch, although that could be entertaining. Would rather get the Blood Prince and her together, if they're not already together.
Now you're being conspiratorial. You need to slow down.
You're right. There is
Spinning
absolutely
after my
nothing
own
in my
heart.
experience to support any of this.
Certainement.
I'm gonna climb up on the battlements. I'll meet you
I
guys
like it.
later.
Blanca, do you have a bikini? I imagine you would draw a great deal of attention if you went strolling toward the yacht with a bikini. They probably would not notice. Cornell and myself. Robin, you could probably do well in a bikini as well. The two of you? Not sure where you would hide your weaponry, but perhaps we could work around that.
Thank you. She has guns inside of her body.
Sounds incredibly uncomfortable. Mostly, I just would like to see the two of you in your bikinis.
I am going to take my whole chock of bullets and find an entrance and start walking up. And I don't know, if there's a gate, I might have to have Cornell open that gate for me.
Blanca comes over to Robin. I stopped in a clothier shop yesterday. I found clothing appropriate to the suggested raiments. There are changing rooms downstairs. I have something for you and something for me.
Eye candy? That's the only role?
No, you'll still have to work.
Girls are talking.
Working girls. Working girls? We're talking.
Okay.
She leads down the stairs to a restroom built into the battlement walls. We can change in here. She pulls out a small paper sack, unfolds the end, and hands you black cloth. It looks petite.
It's petite. It's a petite 1930s.
Does it go over my eyes? Is it like... Does it...
Oh my god! Like really? She's. Where do we keep our things then? Lockers.
She looks around the inside. You see there are cubbies down here, little wooden things with lockers on them and coin slots.
Okay.
It's a lot like a Bahnhof, I think.
It's not awful. Again, I'm going to be naked if I don't have my gun, I guess, behind me?
Yeah.
Mm,
Just hand it to me.
give me a moment. Hand me your gun.
She hands last light.
It's magic, though.
I can't. No, give me Papa.
I don't use Papa except in emergencies.
Consider this an emergency.
Mm.
She grabs the dagger around her neck, concentrates for a minute. You see her bend the gun down to a small pearl. Hands it back to you. Smash it against something hard or throw it on the ground, and it will transform back into a gun.
Your abs.
Just
Yeah.
marvel at it for a moment.
Where Robin is hard and edges, Blanca is soft and petite.
And conversely,
If you want to wash your shirt and get the blood off of it, probably Robin's abs are the way to go.
so put the things away, change a pearl someplace safe. Nice
There,
on a necklace.
there are some hidden liner pockets in these. You're in a one piece that goes from the neck down. It's still feels very revealing, but it's got little reservoirs for secret things.
Okay. Still feel naked because I'm not carrying a pistol, and then we're all right.
She pulls out of her bag what looks like little foot-shaped pads with straps on them. They try these; they'll be comfortable.
For the rocks.
Or the cobbles.
Mm-hmm. Put them on. And she is wearing a two-piece?
Yes.
Do what you can do.
Looks like lace and fabric.
Bjorn will be so happy.
You're in black, she is in white.
Sisters to walk out on the beach. Beach,
Yeah.
in quotes.
Beaches to walk out on the beach.
Neither of you have gotten a lot of sun recently.
No, it's been quite a while.
You exit the cavern out into the sunlight.
Cigarettes in hand.
She has her mother's broad hat on, or at least one that looks like it. Otherwise, it's a bikini.
Yeah, I imagine if there's not a hat to contribute, then it's just Robin in the one piece, a pearl in a pocket.
You keep picking at the fabric as it wants to climb inside crevasses.
I didn't live in a beach town.
You're not out of place here. You've been here a couple of days now and seen foot traffic that tells you that you're not out of fashion.
Do my best to look like I'm just here to enjoy myself.